Draw my makeup! Today is day 2, part 2, whatever, number 2 of the Draw My Makeup series, where I ask you guys to draw my makeup with these beautiful, beautiful designs. And I'm so excited to show you the second one because it is definitely out of my comfort zone. And that's what I've been really loving about this series so far, is that I've been picking things that I wouldn't normally do on my face. And I think it's so stellar to see what other people have come up with and then how I kind of interpreted what they came up with onto my face. So this is today's design. Thank you so much for submitting it. And this is what I'm going to end up putting on my face. So today's look is very, I would say, alien-like. I want to call it like alien, disco, and I want to bejewel it. So how are we going to get started on this? Right now, the first thing I'm doing is I'm mixing all the colors on my palette with a flash color case. And a flash color case is your basic shades that you can mix together and get a more specific shade. I'm gonna just go in with this green right now because I don't really know if I can get the right color from mixing it in my palette. So I'm just gonna resort to putting it right on my face. Plus, I can add eyeshadows later. This definitely does not look like any of the colors that I wanted. This is so much darker. Not doing so hot. Let me blend this out. In my previous video, I talked about how I struggle with making long form videos because I have this issue with my audio not being amazing, and as a perfectionist, it pains me to listen to even the birds chirping or like the hum of my refrigerator or my neighbors walking around and blasting music or their movies. Not getting that crisp audio quality is something I've always struggled with, but you guys told me just keep going, just make that long form content regardless of what your conditions are. Even if the audio is crappy, we just want to see you show up and do your art. And that makes me really happy to hear, and I think that's something that I've always battled mentally with myself. Like, if it's not perfect, don't put it out, and I just am trying to unlearn that. So thank you. This was not the color I was expecting. When in doubt, add white. Return to blank canvas. I think this is a little better. I'm just going to blend this out, and then I'm gonna add more eyeshadow on top of it to get the right colors that I want. But generally what I'm doing is making sure that the dark parts stay dark and then the light parts are in the right highlighted areas. I just set my makeup with some finishing powder from Ventura makeup, and this is gonna make sure that nothing moves on my face. Grease paints do not set on their own. They will continue to be slippery, slidey all over your face until you set it with some sort of a powder. So the base doesn't have to be perfect. We're gonna move on to the next part, which is to actually color correct this, since I made it really freaking dark. And it wasn't my intention. But here we are. I look like a frog. Let's try this color. Not bad. The first Draw My Makeup look that I did, it was definitely more of an easy look. I called it a high impact, low effort look where you don't have to do so many steps or so many layers, but you could create a look that was very full face and easy to practice with if you are in the beginning stages of trying avant-garde makeup, special effects makeup, or whatever you want to call this. Today's look, I would say, is more on the medium level. If you had the right colors, this probably wouldn't take you as long as it will for me, but since I didn't get the right colors, this happens from time to time where I will have a design that I have in my head or someone has drawn it for me, and I won't have the right colors in my palette, so I have to kind of make it up as I go along and color correct. So that is what I'm doing right now. Now, I'm lucky to have a lot of PR from brands who send me products for free. So pretty much everything that you see me using is gifted. But if you are just starting out and you don't have that many palettes at your disposal, my very best tip to give to you is find a palette like this one that is very colorful, has a ton of different colors that are highly pigmented. So the one I'm using today, and it's one of my favorite palettes to use, is the Fade into Hue by ColourPop Cosmetics. Mutant Frog. I'm really gonna want to take my time with this look because normally I set myself with 30 minutes to try to finish this look as fast as possible in order for me not to dilly-dally. But I remember back in 2020 when I first started doing my makeup looks for the internet and not just for myself, I would spend an average of 3 to 4 hours just painting my face. As a result, I think people really saw the passion. They really saw all the inspiration that was flowing through me. They resonated with that, and I think that's why I built the platform that I have today. That being said, over the years of doing this as a full-time content creator, it can get very tiring. I think in order for me to manage my time a little bit better, I've been opting for doing 30-minute makeup looks instead of doing 5 hours of filming and then only having like 3 or 4 videos done. But I feel like in that case, it kind of sacrificed like the artistry of things because I am choosing the easier route in order for me to spend less time on it. I haven't tried this palette yet, but it's the One Size Wicked palette. The 30-minute makeup challenges also were helping me figure out how to shorten the amount of time that it took for me to do a makeup look, because when you do brand deals, especially when you're doing commercials on set, as talent, you only have a certain number of hours allocated for you to be in front of the camera, which means that if I'm doing a makeup look that usually takes me 4 hours, they can't have the crew sitting there for 4 hours filming me. I have to be able to do things in about an hour. Besides the 1 hour, you have to accommodate for the fact that they might have lighting changes or camera angle changes, which will slow you down. They'll have you switch positions, where you're sitting, where you're facing. Sometimes they'll have you look away from the mirror so you don't even see what you're doing. I've had a couple cases where I literally have to just look into the camera and like paint my face as if I'm using it as a mirror. In that moment, I actually couldn't see what I was doing. So I was just painting blindly. Well, I look a lot more disheveled now because my camera just died and I realized I hadn't charged 3 of my batteries and I took 2 of them home. So guess what? I couldn't do anything and now I'm gonna have a cough drop to make myself feel better because I still kind of have a sore throat. Now I'm kind of satisfied with the eye area. I put on blue eyeliner, waterline, and liquid liner, and I'm going to go in with a face palette. So water activated paints is the Maron AQ Paradise palette, Professional Paradise palette. I always forget the name of it. But yeah, this is my favorite face paint palette to work with. It's all water activated paint, but it dries very quickly. Now I'm just adding some mascara before I put on my eyelashes. And I'm gonna take one last sip of water before I do my lips. I'm gonna overline my lips and then I'm gonna finish off with gems all around my face, and then that's where I'm gonna probably end up doing more of an improvisation if I feel like it's too simple. This is Lip Snatcher from One Size and Velvet Flex Cream, and it dries really quickly. I feel like I look now like something that's in SpongeBob. Anyways, I'm taking the Weds palette from Makeup Revolution and I'm gonna try some of this blue right here. I know I didn't ask for any duochrome, but I just received this from Carla Cosmetics and I've been dying to try it out. A lip brush like these. Let's just see how it looks without any like primer. Let me just try putting on a little bit of gloss. I'm just gonna see how that looks. Now that's really fun. I just put on a layer of Jelly Gloss in Pout by Makeup Revolution. And unfortunately, the blue kind of disappeared. That's really sad because I like how the blue looked. It kind of turned black. What's with that? I wonder if I can add the blue back without ruining the lips. Let me use like a lighter shade of blue so it shows up. No, it looks like caca. Maybe in the photos, I'll be able to add in a little bit of blue onto my lips. Now I want to add the rest of the stuff on my face. It is all the jewels and the gems, the fun parts. On my drawing, it's just dots, but they're supposed to represent jewels. So I'm going to try to use all these pearls and come up with a fun little cascade of jewels on my face. I don't know about you, but I'm the type of person who has so many different interests. Because of my attention span and my need to be constantly creative, I always dream up a realm of possibilities of where I could go with my career. And one thing that I had to remind myself recently is that I can slow down. I can be okay with where I'm at. I don't constantly have to be chasing something. And I think one of the things that I always chase is money, unfortunately, and I feel like that's what a lot of people feel like, that it's like never enough. You're always chasing for a raise, and that can get very exhausting. I'm at that 4-year mark of my content creation journey, and this year was kind of a financial struggle for me. The main income streams that I had were brand deals and whatever I was making off of these videos that I make on social media. And when those were at a pause and they weren't really bringing in that much income, I started switching over to all these other things that I've kind of put off for the past couple of years in order to become a successful social media influencer, and I started started writing. I started thinking about things that go into mainstream media. Just dip my toes in and see like what that experience would be like, even if it's not for me. But so I started doing these things, and then I realized, oh my goodness, I am girl bossing too close to the sun, as they say. What I mean is that I can't finish those projects. I started a small business, CYNESSIA, which is a luxury notebook brand, and it has been like my child. You start it and then you can't just stop it. It continues to grow. And that's one of the reasons why I've been so hesitant to start a business on the side that isn't just content creation. And I know that I'm not a quitter, and it's kind of built into my DNA, because when I was a kid, my mom never let me quit anything. My mom and dad were like, if you're going to start something, even if you lose interest in it, we are going to make you keep going until you are like the best in it. So everything I decided to start, maybe when I was in first grade, I was like, Mom, I want to try piano. She would put me through piano classes for the next 8 years. Even when I was like, Mom, I don't want to do piano anymore. She goes, you're not going to waste your talent. You're not going to stop right when it gets hard, because that is where you will be able to grow. So now what ends up happening is I will start things and I will get kind of scared at the aspect of never being able to stop it, and then I'll not finish it. So these projects that I was mentioning were things that I was really serious about at some point in time. And you know, it's not that I'm not serious about it anymore. It's that it has just gotten to the point where maybe I have imposter syndrome, or I'm just kind of scared of going to the finish line with all of those things. I want to be able to dedicate 100% of myself into that project, and I just simply don't have the bandwidth or the time to do that because I have started so many projects. If you go through something like this, how do you balance it? How do you balance all these different interests that you have? How do you keep some of them as passion projects? How do you build some things into your career? So I'm at a good place with my makeup. I'm gonna change my contacts, fix up my hair, and I'll be right back. And this is the final look. This was the inspiration, and this was my interpretation of it. What do you guys think? I also have one blue contact in. Finishing touches, one over here and one over here. Okay, that's cute. Should I add any ribbons? No, is it too much? Okay, that's enough slices. I'm the queen of overdoing it. But now this is the final look. Part 3 is coming up next, so make sure to subscribe if you aren't subscribed already, and thanks so much for watching. Yeah.